Hello there, Gabrielle here. Just a little rough and ready video just to talk a little bit about, just as we go into the weekend, just having a rethink, I guess, or a recap, a better word, and just really thinking about what Thrive actually is and how it actually helps you and what the sort of structure, I guess, of the program is and how it's working, because I think it's just really useful to just keep having a recap on what you're doing, how it works, why it's relevant, and specifically the work that you have to do, because reality of it is that you do. And really what we're working on here are sort of a set of foundations. I keep looking down because I've written down, because that's how I roll. I always have to have something written down. But we're putting in place some foundations, okay? So there's sort of 5 areas really. One is mindset. Mindset is massive. It's about making a decision that you're worth it, your health is worth it, and it's worth you investing your time and your energy in yourself so that you feel better. Because we're women, we're very easily called upon and distracted by other people and other people that we care for, and it's very easy for us to let them take all our time and energy and end up, we just don't have anything left for ourselves. So having that mindset change and cultivating that mindset change is a really big part of this, okay? So you always have to keep that in your head and keep working on it. The other foundations then are food. There's a big emphasis on healthy eating and eating nutritious food and eating enough protein, because when we have a great diet and we find out specifically the types of foods and the meals that work for us, we feel better in so many ways. Yes, we'll lose weight if we're not hungry and craving, but we also have more energy, we'll sleep better, our mood's better, we'll feel less bloated, our skin's better, lots and lots of things. So there's some really good reasons, amazing reasons, to really pay attention to food that makes us feel really good, okay? And then of course there's exercise. Exercise is massive, it has a really big effect on your energy. A lot of people find that exercise can be a really valuable reset for them. So, you do your exercise, that's the thing that gives you energy, makes you feel motivated, and that can really set you up for the day and have a big influence on how you eat over that day. Exercise is one of the foundations. Another one is stress balancing. I think, if you knew if your 20-year-old self knew how stressed your life is at this age, you'd probably run a mile, wouldn't you? Stress sort of builds up very slowly over the years, and we really don't realise how much is accumulating. And this is a time of our lives to just really get a handle on that. We've got so much on our plates just because it's sort of slid into our lives. But we know that stress affects many different things. Chemically, it can affect your hormones, it can affect fat, but it also can just sort of fill your head and just leave you feeling overwhelmed and just strung out and just not knowing whether you're coming or going. So it's just really important to sort of build your awareness around stress and just try and balance it out with time where you can rest and you recover, you can give your brain a rest and have a little bit of time out for yourself. And then sleep. Sleep has an impact, because when we don't sleep well, that can affect our eating habits the next day, it can affect our energy levels, and that can just sort of send your day spiraling out of control when you're just running on empty. So they're the foundations that we're working on: mindsets, nutritious food, exercise, balancing stress and sleep. Okay, so we probably know this already. We know that these things are really good for us and make us feel great. Okay. But what we're also trying to build awareness through this program is there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our lives that actually pulls us away from having these ideal ways of, these foundations and sticking to them, Our food environment that we live in, and I don't necessarily mean our houses, but it could be, if our kids or our partners won't eat what we want to eat, then we've got the wrong things around us. We're tempted by what's on offer in supermarkets, food advertising, the convenience of takeaways. There's a whole raft of things all the time that are trying to say, eat this, eat this, be treat wise, you deserve it, you're worth it, and all of these things, and trying to pull us away from a very basic, healthy, nutritious diet, okay? Other things that pull us away from this foundation are our eating habits, our relationship with food, just mindless eating stuff that's just there and around us. And this is part of something that we just need to be aware of. Then we have things like lack of time. It's easy to say about changing your mindset, but the reality of it is we can't just ditch all of our responsibilities. So sometimes we don't have enough time. We may not have the right boundaries around our food. A common thing that I see is people have a very clear idea of what works for them during the week, but they've got no idea at the weekends. And then it just becomes a free-for-all, and they just sort of never make any progress because they're backwards and forwards between this lovely week model and a dreadful weekend model. So lack of boundaries is pulling us away from these good foundations, and also influence from others, external pressure from people to get us to eat, or we might live with feeders or colleagues who give us a hard time, friends, family who give us a hard time. That's something that's chipping away at us. And also, key here is having a negative body image. That can be something that's quite hard to let go, and really makes us feel very nervous about moving away from that diet mentality, because we feel if we ever just relax and stop being on a diet, we'll just lose control over what we eat and our eating. And we don't know we're frightened of what will happen to us. And then there's, maybe shame around what we look like and wanting to conform to external ideas of body shape, or, beauty standards. And those sorts of things can just really play havoc with our mindset, our eating habits, just our general mood, really. And, so there's this whole raft of things going on all the time. That's how I think about it. We know what we want to do here. It's very simple. The rules, or the ideals, if you like, is a nicer word. But there's all these things just chipping away all the time, trying to unpick what we're doing and trying to get us to take a different path that, we want to avoid. Because when we go down the rabbit hole of eating the wrong things, eating unhealthy food, just snacking all the time, we don't feel good about ourselves inside, our bodies and how they work, and our minds. Okay, so the work we have to do over the 8 weeks, and it might take longer. Once you're in this mindset, you can sort of work on it for as long as you want. But we're looking at how we learn about our own eating habits and how we identify them. We're looking to find out the types of foods that work well for us, that we can slot into our lives, because what works for me and the food that I enjoy might not work for you. So we have to go on that journey ourselves to find out what is a good food weekly menu plan, I guess, for us. And we've got to do things like defining our food boundaries, and get away from unconscious eating patterns where we just eat what we eat just because we always have done, and turn them into conscious food choices. So we're making decisions about what fits, what things that we want to have in our lives. Okay, and the key thing around that is really getting in touch with you and what works for you, and eating for a reason, which is because you want to, because that works for you, not because you're under pressure, not because you're eating your emotions, not because you've hitting the self-destruct button because things have gone wrong. It's about really tuning in to yourself and what works for you, setting those boundaries and making conscious choices about what you want to eat. And the other bit of work to do is just being kinder to yourself, and accepting ourselves as we are now. And you can, thinking about this, because it's a hard one to balance, you can want to improve your body composition, lose body fat, increase muscle, for any reason that you want, whether it's aesthetics, whether it's for health reasons, and have a healthy attitude towards food. But you have to work quite hard to make sure you're doing it from a place of kindness and acceptance. 97% of women have got cellulite. Probably 100% of us who have got cellulite can't stand it and really deep down, want to change it. But you're a lot easier on yourself if you stop having that battle with trying to change and not accept yourself. We're all different shapes and sizes. We've had babies, operations, been through stress and all sorts of things that have affected our bodies. And when we sort of start to be a lot kinder to ourselves and accepting ourselves as we are, then we actually start to find it easier to make better choices through giving ourselves what we need to feel good. Okay, and that's the work. That's the work that we're having to do through Thrive, because when we do that work, that helps us to preserve and define what this ideal way of eating and exercising is for us, sort of our unique little model, and defend ourselves from all of those little external influences that are trying to chip away at that and take us away from that path. And when we nail that, then that's when we thrive. That's when we feel good. That's when we've not got a load of nonsense going around in our brains all the time. And we've got a nice, easy relationship with food. We've found a nice place for exercise in our lives that feels effortless. And we've got the energy and mental capacity, because we're not bogged down with self-hate or, issues around food. We've got the mental capacity to do the things we want and enjoy our lives. And that's what we're trying to do together. Okay. So that's just something to go into the weekend thinking about. And hopefully that will help you and just give you a little bit of a boost and a little bit of clarity about what you're doing and what we're working towards. Okay, have a lovely weekend. See you soon.